team that we haven't really talked about too much. It is DRS. We keep talking about these massive teams all the time. You're talking about your Inco, S2G, Alpha 7, Nova. But DRS, they're chilling in 4th position. And if they strike hard today, we might see a Nepali team become the world.
We will see to play for. Because if it is the 3P coming through from Nova, once again, teams will be looking to dethrone that king right at the top next year in Turkey. Or will we have ourselves a new PMGC Grand Champion looking to defend next year? I think that one of the crazy things is that right now, with the way S2G is currently playing, and you keep saying this, John, is that they could certainly be the winners, and it could be a home ground team defending over in Turkey.
It would be amazing to see. It would be quite the story as well to see if S2G can keep that momentum going throughout the year as well, because that's going to be an important factor moving out of this tournament. But we've got to think about that later, Blank, because right now they've got to win it first if they want to be defending champions. Plenty of other teams, though, wanting to challenge for that title. You talked about defending champions Nova. Sure, they've had that rise from 10th up to 5th so far over yesterday, but they still have a little bit more to climb. And teams like Inco will not be going down without a fight. Even teams like Alpha 7, who started day 1 very, very strong and coming back into day.
Horrible playing path to start our day off here, though. Day 1 was very kind. Day 2, even kinder when it came to playing path. Day 3, no prisoners, no mercy. Playing path down from Sosnovka all the way to the western side of Gatka here. A horrific way to begin, but for Stalwart dropping out early towards Novo, this could be a really good start for these boys.
And actually 2 teams going to be dropping out on the eastern side of the military islands. Going to be a little bit of conflict potentially over towards Novo, a hot drop, and 2 more teams, 3 teams actually dropping out over Sosnovka, but they're all heading north, so likely going to see them over on that main island. Nobody going for C block at the moment, not that I can see anyway, which is fairly interesting, I'd say, with the playing path as it is. Still time to turn around if they want to go. And look at that, Alpha 7, they did drop out in the same position as Godlike Stalwart, but they are going to go all the way over the water towards Milta Power.
Yeah, I mean, but this is practically their basic drop spot anyways. This is fine for Alpha 7 as a backup. Other than that, towards North George, also an availability for Alpha 7, been dropping their majority of the time throughout this tournament. But Milta Power, Milta, very standard drop spot for Alpha 7 during this match. I don't think anyone's going to cause them too many problems on this side.
I am really surprised, though, that nobody dropped on C block or even on the western sides of that island. They're all going to have to head north, and not only because of the plane path now, they will go up with the circle. Another Northern Erangel.
I think for most people, they realize that, honestly, going down towards Sosnovka military base or on C block, with this type of meta, this type of lobby, where they're all going highly central, that's Inco, though, getting dropped upon by S2G. They lose a couple there. That's one already down. Vitali sends away. Takes a fair bit of damage on the way out. That's Inco already losing one player. This could be a little bit tricky for them now. Wanting to take that central position early on, play with 4, but now playing with 3. This will cut their chances a little bit.
With losing Nenebete as well. That's really not the ideal candidate. Hang on a minute. Buradam are there as well. Inco, they are getting chased down right now. S2G with the elimination point that they were able to get. They're now 1 point behind Inco at the top of the tables, Blank, and maybe looking to pursue a little bit more with only 2 players alive for Inco. You've got to think that that central strategy of theirs is looking pretty shaky.
Yeah, this is not ideal for Inco, honestly, especially with that playing path. It does not give them a lot of time to get set up and going. Inco is a team that tends to do very, very well towards that end game, honestly, John, and that's where they find their big rewards. And you can also get yourself some big rewards from 2022 PMGC Special Crate, only available till the end of today, January 8th, so make sure you get hands on that whilst you still can.
4 angry men just picking each other up and moving forwards. Look at this, early moves. Generally, what you will see from Inco this time around, though, they are cut down in half. Vitali took a lot of damage early. There's no meds on Squash, so they still have yet to go for this loot. A lot of teams have made their way up north fast, and one of those teams, 4 angry men, will be across that river in North George, 2-2 right now. And all 4 of them still alive. T2K also moving to that north of the river. IHC, South George occupation.
Yeah, T2K can head towards Box Compound, perhaps hold there for a little while longer before heading up towards Severny side. 4 AM picking up their usual drop spot in North George, so they know that this should be clear, this should be clean. They'll rather drop out and get towards that position nice and early. Inco's headed up towards Rozok. And imagine that they'll loot up quickly and then head a bit further upwards, but I think right now with Severny, the very limited amount of places you can play in Severny and that area around it, this is going to be requiring to have 4 members, 3 members alive to be able to take some of the priority positions. So I think this might be a bit of a write-off for Inco at the start of the day. However, this does lead us into a lot of that big storyline. However, Frozen currently demolishing Jane here, sends in an absolute deadly spray his way.
And only bandages on board for Jane, which means that this fight is looking pretty shaky for the T2K outpost. Nade in through the window! You only need 1 HP to be able to lob those nades through, and that's going to be a flush. Frozen eliminated by T2K.
For Nova, that is such an unfortunate result. Like you said, Jane being on practically no HP there, perfectly lobs that grenade through the window. Will take down Frozen. Now Nova starting the day where they wanted to have that comeback, where they want to have that domination on day 3, to send them towards that upper side and really be in the fight for those number 1 and 2nd spots. Realistically, they want the trophy once again. But right now, it's S2G and Inco hugely pulling ahead. And with Inco losing 2, it might just be S2G creating an even bigger buffer between them and the rest of the teams in this lobby.
Alter Ego. They have absolutely spurred the crowd to hysteria sometimes, especially with their chicken dinner yesterday. But they do still have their work cut out for them. 15th place right now, 65 points on the board. They aren't lost. I think that's what we can say for them. But they did manage to get the chicken dinner, and the one that they did get, it was fairly convincing.
Yeah, it was a good chicken dinner. I was talking to Denny about it, the coach from the team, saying that, you know, they were given the circle. I had to be nice to him. I was like, look, you're given the circle, but you still have to play that out correctly. Take that win. I think that Indonesia could be certainly proud. And he said, yeah, well, we changed a few things. And we've worked on it. And again, this is PMGC. This is the hardest PMGC we've had in basically forever. So for Alter Ego to continue performing like this, it's really good to see. And I don't think there's a single team here that has underperformed massively. Maybe VPE, you could say, currently at 45 points, but there is 6 more matches still to go. Maybe they can change things.
Nova at the top of Everest after getting backed off the position in the compound across the river by T2K. With a sneaky little nade. Godlike Stalwart moving on the southeast side as IHC and Fireflux in the crates near Georgia Pole. Looking to lay claim. I think Fireflux, yeah, they have just been trying to move in on that west coast, and Solke gets spotted. IHC want to close the jaws of this, moving 2 players up to the warehouse. Solke into the vehicle as well. Looks to hop out as they will have heard that one. The engine did switch on, and 2 players going straight on in. Solke with a challenge now. Half HP, going to be tricky to make it work. UMP to move forwards. A lot of damage sent in, but Solke's being flushed out. Goes for the challenge, and it is IHC to take him down. Solke falls, and the rest of Fireflux divert attention. They flee, go back south.
Very nice stuff there coming through from IHC. Well, let's get themselves few, or at least 1 point, right? That 1 elimination, but it gives them a nice little platform to play from going forward. Order 50 eliminations. I mean, it's difficult not to go for him. Yuhai did have 49 though, so you gotta respect that. Just a little bit behind Order, who is kind of too good. Let's be honest.
4 angry men. They've been making a little bit of an impact themselves. Currently 93 points, 7th place. Nova only 3 points ahead of them. Svan, the legacy player from this roster, keeping them in and leading from the front, really. I feel like this is a roster that has had quite a lot of power with it.
Yeah, WWX has been doing a very, very good job as well for that team. They've been putting in a lot of work. I don't think there's really anyone on there that hasn't pulled their weight. And I think that's exactly what the organization wanted. Yes, Svan is great at leading that team, and he certainly does look like he has a ton of experience on board, but I think they have created this core now which is quite strong, and is certainly something that will carry 4AM to even greater heights coming towards that future. They're not that far behind some of these big teams towards the top. I think it was 93 points they started on today, which is fantastic. That still gives you a good running. 30 points behind the front runners. That's just one big chicken dinner. And right now, with where they're currently sat, they maintain a lot of the control over towards that northwestern side of the circle. And a lot of times, 4AM really struggles when they lose players early on. They're not able to get themselves set up. They can't play their splits. They've been given enough time now, I'd say, that they can set themselves up for a very strong late game without losing players at this current moment. It means that I think this could be a good 4AM game.
Influence came in as well, shimmying around on that northern side. Alpha 7 just a little bit to their west right now. Influence came in the lowest scoring Brazilian team, but in 8th place with 91 points, still in that contest, which is saying something. 3 Brazilian teams here in the finals. We've got 3 Chinese teams, but those nationalities are the highest represented in this stage. So the fact that all 3 of those Brazilian teams have over 90 points is really quite saying something.
It's an astounding result for the region, honestly. I think if you're a Brazilian fan, you should absolutely be proud of your country. You know, they've really fielded not only one team, 2 teams, but 12 separate players, all right now here in the PMGC. Every single one of them of insanely good caliber. It's very difficult to find that in any one country or region, just in the sense of like, being able to, even if you're able to cherry pick, being able to have that core, that synergy as well, and all these players working together, this is a very rare occurrence that you do not see very, very often. I think it's wonderful to see as well. I mean, just Americas in general having this standout region for themselves, this standout country, bringing this kind of presence, this kind of pressure to every other team within this lobby. We've had a real turn of good events here in the PMGC, and over this last year, PUBG Mobile, a lot of successes. And right now, I think that PUBG Mobile is only going to get harder in terms of skill and what you're going to have to bring to the table. But I think we're only getting better talent coming through to the scene, and I think we'll see some more familiar faces going towards the future.
I feel like that is the story that we've seen over the course of this year, is the leveling up of every single region.
Yeah.
I think there is not one that doesn't have some sort of massive improvement that we've seen over the course of this year, which is absolutely phenomenal, and it makes me really excited, especially for, I mean, what is next year's final going to look like over in Turkey?
100%. I think that when you look at it, it's like, it feels very much like the PUBG Mobile team is trying to bring us more in line with the Chinese type of esports, PEL, for instance. Yeah. You know, we're getting similar points in terms of their point system. It's not exactly the same. I think they have some slightly different rules when it comes to eliminations, but we've got different circle changes now, making the game much more fair. I think overall, you know, not only is everyone leveling up to the level of China, but now also we're having our scene becoming much more similar to theirs. I think we're going to see a whole new game coming to the next year. And it's just these little changes that are completely changing the dynamic of the game. And it's very fun to see. And you can tell that the PUBG Mobile team is working really hard in the background to make sure everyone at home, everyone during the tournaments, everyone who's competing in the tournaments is getting the best game to compete in. So I'm proud to be part of this community, man.
Well said.
Thank you.
An admirable sentiment, and one that I firmly agree with. The circle, coming back into this game, blank. It went hard northwest. This is a hard shift up to the north side, but it's probably one of the better circles for this current split. Isolating and leaving that river means that teams won't have to make that 50-50 coin flip. Instead, they'll look to play these set pieces around the river crossings. But Wolves going to look to hold that on the south.
Absolutely. I think that when you look at this as well, one team in particular catches my attention is Alpha 7. Not an easy push, not an easy rotation for them coming up from mill to power to suddenly being towards the center of the circle here, shooting range. But S2G currently taking a lot of casualties here versus Wolves. Just one player remaining, and it's Nova as well off in the distance, taking some pot shots. They have one player that might be able to get them back up on their feet, but there is an enemy team in the background. It's Stalwart coming through, and Hamzy G just sent for the water. Swim this one out.
Paraboy with plenty of support of his own in this arena here in Jakarta. going to be taking shots actually over towards everyone. God, like Stalwart also third partying in. Beautiful wants to confirm these flushes. 2 players active for the Wolves. And he moves up on the ridgeline. Hamzy G is beneath him. Needs to be careful, but there does seem to be some backup there. Calci, Silas, both got to be flushed out. Now they can turn their attention to the reses, unless Hamzy G has something to say about it. Floating around near the boat. Remember, spots it. And there's no way Hamzy gets up here.
Goodness me, the top 2 teams looking like they've come out of the ring from with Ali.
اليوم بيدا مرمتها قبل شوي خير شر.
ليه؟
الا قبل اخر ما بالاخر كل. لا
من اللي سمك علي جالس ارقص لهم؟
لا طلع من هنا.
يا ويلكم.
اوي ما عاد شفنا. كيف اجيبهم من هنا؟
ثاني نوك وانا باش اوبن.
وراه.
مشان السيارة. هي اللي جاي.
وش لعبهم
التنين اللي داخل مقطعهم. يبغى يدمج السايد. شو هذا عندي مدمج يهيل. معيد من ورا بسرعة قبل تفنش انا. حيك.
لا واحد. لا ما تحسب لي.
شو الحال؟ واحد نوك.
ما في.
كلب.
يا تنغب انت يفنشونه.
عادي. ما كلاسيك ما نقهر عليه،
أنا
ما نقهر على هذا.
مطف.
Help!
محمد ارجع لي. جيك.
طيحوك. شربي.
ايه. بس
تعجبني النادي اللي يطيح اثنين.
Thank you. Help!
ايش نبي سعودية يا اخي، السعوديين احس
معرقين.
كويس. اما اللي قبل شيء والله انهم صيدات معرقين بس انهم مهطة. دمج اللي ورا البيت، دمج بقوة. انا اللي ذبحتها يا الكلبة.
ما ادري من يدمج. كيف تذبح انت
والله.
بينه وبينك خشب؟
جاهد هاكر ايش تبغى؟ تعرفني. بغى يجيهم 4 يقول سموا هذا كل.
قضى.
والله انها انا الخطف.
يوسف.
حقي. ايه
Marked a location. Help! Help!
وكيف صوت العيون.
Help!
Hey. Ah. Madrol. What I
Help! Help! Thank you. Help! Help!
Start honestly down. Go home.
Wait.
Go food. والله طلعت.
Thank you.
هو يا ماما.
Help!
تعالي رقم واحد. رقم واحد.
Thank you. Form up on me. Thank you. Help!
شنو؟ تعالي رقم واحد شوية. إذا صعد إيش بيك؟ المفروض من هو؟
got the triple elimination medal. I made the top 3 just now. Excellent work.
السلام عليكم يا اللي بالطيارة.
السلام ورحمة الله.
Call me. Help! Recall me. Help! Let's go. Don't give up. Your teammates can still recall you. Let's go. I'm recalling a teammate. Thanks. Help! Watch out! Please recall me.
You see him? There's the enemy.
Okay. Let's go.
You see him? There's the enemy.
ادي هنا وراك اهو، في حرمه جنبي هنا. ادي تعالى اقف جنبي عشان تسمعها. شو اسمك؟ سوسو؟ حسن؟ ايه ظهرت عندك لسه؟ عندي بتظهر عندي؟ ما بتظهرش لا بس الجرافيك بتاع الموبايل عندك ما كنتش محدث حاجه في الاوبشن بتاعتي.
معكم السيسي اللي في العام معكم السيسي